All right, guys, welcome to the podcast. Today I have a very special guest for you. So I have my client, Katie Allen. I've been working with her almost 2 years now. And the reason I want to bring her on is because she has a really cool story, and she has something that I think a lot of you guys should, I would say, pursue, or maybe a better word is I encourage you to head towards that path. And what I mean by that is multiple streams of income and different types of businesses. As we've seen, especially in the past year and a half, it's not always a guarantee that you'll be able to open your business, especially if you perform services like most of you do. And so I think it's very important to have different avenues. And so real quick, I'm going to introduce her. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Katie Allen. I am the owner of Beautiful Wands, which is an online e-commerce store for eyelash extension products and aftercare products. Recently, I purchased another company called the Lash Artist Box. It is a Lash Artist subscription box. And then we also have a brick and mortar where we offer services, eyelash extensions, threading, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so one thing that I think is really cool is the fact that you said you just bought a business. I actually went through a mastermind last month where I was learning how to do business acquisition and that kind of stuff. So I'd love to dive into that for a bit. But first, let's talk about all the different types of business you have. You have a brick and mortar business that's in Georgia, right?
Yes, correct. It's called Beautiful Wands Lash Salon. And that's actually multi-purpose. We have our warehouse in the back, and then the front is for the salon, and then retail as well for people to come in and buy and test their products right away, which is pretty awesome because a lot of the e-commerce stores, you don't get to try your products right away. With the brick and mortar, you can come in, try the lashes, try the tweezers and whatnot, and just, if you're in an emergency, come in right away, which is a good thing to have.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to earlier in the intro is like a lot of you guys listening right now or watching, you might have a profitable service-based business, but if you're only relying on that, then you're basically relying on one source of income. And so I think e-commerce is still blowing up. Like I know it's really going up like crazy the past 5 years, as we all have seen with Amazon and online. And it's not just Amazon either. Like it's online sales everywhere because people just use the internet more to buy stuff, and especially with the.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like my degree is personally in criminal justice.
Same.
And I started my online business by complete mistake. I started with Facebook, like posting here and there, and then people wanting to buy things. And it's crazy because I talked about it with my husband the other day, is I would handwrite every single thing that I took to the post office. And that's what took the most time. I would handwrite everything, take everything to the post office. And, it started out where I would tell my husband, as long as we make $500 a month, we're good. And, 6 months later, he quit his job and he stays at home with the kids because the e-commerce business took off in such a way that we never expected.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the e-commerce business model. Can you kind of explain like what happens when someone clicks that purchase button and what the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use Shopify for our business portal, our e-commerce store. So basically what you do is you either design your website or have someone design your website. You put all your products, everything that you're offering on this e-commerce website. Somebody goes on, clicks what they want, and as soon as they click send, it goes straight to our computer at our warehouse. I have a couple of employees that will get those every morning. First thing that they do is they come in, they pull the orders, they check the orders, and then they pack the orders. And it's, a daily process. As soon as we clear the queue, we have another one to go to. And then we take it personally to the post office. We've actually noticed that if we leave it for them to come pick up, it delays it by like 2 to 3 days. And so we want it to get there as quickly as possible. So we actually stand in line at the post office for a lovely hour every day to make sure that they go out that day. But yeah, so we have that for the e-commerce business, and we've just, it started in my basement on my kitchen table, and we've grown into, like I was talking about, the brick and mortar, where we offer services now as well.
That's awesome. So let's talk about warehouse, because like for me, I've never rented or owned a warehouse, and so it sounds like a fancy term to me. Can you kind of break it down? Is it just like a room you rent out and keep your supplies in, or how does that work?
Yeah, so our space is 3,800 square feet, so it's a pretty big space. The way that we have it set up is when you walk in, you will see, I guess, your eyelash products. You have a testing station. If you're coming in for a service, you'll come in, and then to your left is where you'll get your services done. Then in the back, if you walk to the back, you'll see what we talked about with the computers where the orders come in. And then there's shelves on shelves on shelves on shelves on shelves with nothing but products. We also have a big printing machine because we do custom orders. And so, we print on that every single day. We make t-shirts, like it's crazy. It's crazy what the little lash wand that I started with has turned into. But I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to pivot, you have to grow to what people are wanting in order to be successful, especially with e-commerce, with a billion other lash artist brands out there right now. So. Yep,
exactly. So how do you, sorry if I'm diving too much into logistics, but how do you kind of come up with how much inventory you need to keep on hand versus having too much or not enough?
So I'll definitely look at my inventory every month. I do smaller batches of inventory just so that I could check for quality, especially with lash extensions. You need to be careful with that. You don't want to order too much and then have a bad batch and then you're kind of stuck with it. So I look at trends, just like I'm sure any other business does, trends of what's most popular, how many we did this month, did we go out of stock of anything? And if we did with those things, then I'll make sure that I order more. We have a huge Excel sheet that I have on the computer where my employees will come and they'll do the inventory once a week, and then I'll check to see what was selling well. I mean, usually you're looking at your CC 13, 12, 11 millimeter curls are going to be the most popular, and then the glues, the bonders, and just kind of go from there. But yeah, it's definitely like a science equation every month of what I'm going to order and how much I'm going to order to make sure that I don't have just products sitting there.
So as far as your business growth goes, how have you found, because a lot of times with products, people just want to find the cheapest prices. How have you found a way to really set yourself apart from your competitors?
With me, I definitely think that since we order custom products, so like Lash Aftercare, we could put your logo on the kits. So it's not me selling my brand necessarily, but taking your brand into it as well. And I think that definitely sets me apart from other lash brands and lash people in the industry, because it's something that nobody else is doing.
Right.
And that's, I think, the biggest hurdle right now in the lash industry with if you're wanting to start a brand, what sets you apart? Because a lot of times it's not much. So if you can find something that sets you apart, I think that's really what's helped me be successful.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, to me, having a business name on their products and stuff, I think gives them so much more credibility. But
absolutely,
I was actually just ordering t-shirts for myself the other day for one of the other companies I've started. If I had known you do t-shirts, I would have hit you up.
From me. Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And the difference with us and say China is that if you're going to order from China, you don't know what you're going to get. One. Two, you're having to order hundreds at a time, where our minimum order is 10. And then, our shipping and production time is 5 to 7 business days, where in China, you're waiting over a month, or you're paying a lot in shipping. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely finding your niche in the market and being able to grow and expand on that.
So what's your experience been with Shopify? Have you enjoyed working with Shopify?
So I started with Wix. When I was getting maybe 5 orders a week, and that was great to start with. But they don't have as many apps as Shopify. Shopify is you have everything there. If you need the customized apps, you have that. If you need any type of app that you want, you can get on Shopify. Now, depending on how much business you're going to do, you will be paying for it. I know that I'm like on the premium business plan, which is a percentage of your sales and X amount per year that you're paying for the Shopify portal. But I mean, if you think about it and you think about like rent, if you're paying rent for like a brick and mortar, Shopify is kind of like your rent.
Yep.
You know, that's your house. That's where everything's working. So, I mean, I've been on a couple. I'm also on Squarespace, and I'd say that Shopify is my favorite from all three of them. So.
Yeah, I've had a little experience in e-commerce. Like that was actually one of the first things I tried to do like 5 or 6 years ago to make money. Was I had like a little jewelry shop where I would like import stuff and then sell it on Shopify. And so I'm sure it's grown a lot since 5 years ago. But every time I've seen anything with Shopify, it seems really smooth.
Yeah, it does. It is smooth. But just like I said, you get what you pay for. So if you really want to invest and grow with your company, Shopify is probably the way to go.
Cool. And like I said, guys, earlier, if you are looking eventually to get into e-commerce, like Katie is definitely, very knowledgeable. I've seen her work. She's very professional. So I'm sure she would be happy to answer any questions you had if you ever started one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, it had gotten to the point where it was running so smoothly that I kind of got bored and I needed another avenue. And so that's where, the Lash Artist Box comes in. And like I said, I was in negotiations and we decided that it would be a good purchase and to expand on my business as it is.
So how did you find Lash Artist Box? Is it something you just already knew about, or did somebody tell you?
So there is an event that happens in California called LashCon. It's a Lash conference for lash artists. And I was there in 2019, and so was the owner of the Lash Artist Box. Her name is Katie Gross. And, we met out there and we kept in touch. I actually had my products inside the box, the second ever Lash Artist Box, and then a year later as well. And her and I had always, talked business back and forth. Just if we had questions for one another, we'd reach out to each other. And beginning of 2021, she reached out to me and wanted to know if I'd be interested in purchasing her company. She owns a salon and has a couple of other business ventures, and she just couldn't keep up with it. And she wanted to make sure it was in good hands. And so she reached out to me, and we looked at the numbers, we looked at a lot of different things. Yeah. And we decided that it would be a good business decision for both of us. So that worked.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome that you can do that. Without any, like for me, I took that mastermind and they're like, here's 100 questions you should ask them for due diligence, like to look at all the numbers and everything. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have a CPA, and she definitely helped me a lot. I also have a friend who is a lawyer, and she definitely helped me a lot with asking the right types of questions and writing up the contracts for the bill of sale. Which, I know what I do well and I know where to delegate because even, marketing, like when I work with you, I will look at that computer, even getting on, this podcast, it took me a lot longer than it should have because that's not my cup of tea, but I know where to delegate in regards to that. I also have that entrepreneur bug where, I kind of leap and then cross my fingers and hope that everything works out. Yeah. So.
And I mean, as an entrepreneur, you kind of have to be that way. Obviously, you don't want to go off the deep end with it, but I know you don't. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to take risk, and you have to take those leaps of faith. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck worrying about the small things and getting too scared to do anything. And before you know it, you're not. You're going to be old and have done nothing your whole life. And so that's like my biggest fear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because my husband, he's the exact opposite of me. And when we opened up our space on the square, our brick and mortar, he was waiting for everything to just be perfect. And I was like, it's never going to be perfect. You have to jump for it and then build where you can, learn and grow. Yep,
exactly. So can you tell us exactly, what's in Lash Artist Box, what it is, and, all about it?
So the Lash Artist Box is like the perfect example of the Lash community, in my opinion. It allows brands to collaborate with one another. It also allows lash artists to support those brands at an amazing discounted cost. I mean, every box that you get is over $100 worth of products. And it's delivered to your door for $55 free shipping.
Nice.
And in doing that, you allow brands to get their products out there, where if you were to go to, an IBS show, you're going to be spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get your products into these hands. It's another form of marketing to me. I'm getting your brand into 400 of your direct consumer. Like, there's no other better marketing than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Lash artists, I mean, it's expensive. It's expensive to try new products. I mean, you go on, you buy lashes and glue, you're going to spend $100, including shipping. And so being able to get the best of both worlds for the brand and for the consumer, it's a no-brainer to me. I mean, it's a great idea. And I was glad that Katie Gross, allowed me to take over her baby. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. It definitely seems like a win-win because, like you said, the product, creators can get their stuff out there while the consumer can get a great deal. Yeah,
it's awesome. So
I'm obsessed with like anything box I love subscription boxes. Like, I know when we were when my wife was pregnant, we were getting all like the little baby boxes and stuff with all the stuff, like all the samples and all the little products in there.
Yeah, I do the Barbella box. It's like a workout box. And that's my inspiration to get back to my pre-pregnancy weight. But I get my little leggings and like the pre-workout and all. It's the concept it's flawless. So I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, for those listening who are just doing permanent makeup only, is there a permanent makeup box? I don't know. I've never heard of one, so maybe somebody could jump on that.
That's something we could expand to.
Yeah, so maybe someone can reach out to me and I can do some funding and we can partner up on something. PMU box. I just thought of that.
Or, me and you.
Oh yeah, that works too.
We already have that portal.
True. All right. So one thing that, I like to do with all my listeners is give them, a special offer whenever I have a guest on there. So do you have anything that you could, offer to my listeners on here or viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. For the Lash Artist Box, I'd be happy to offer a 20% off for their first box. Awesome. I don't know, you can make up the code, whatever you say, I'll put it in, and that'll be the code for them to go ahead and jump on there and get 20% off their first box.
Okay, you can just call it like Jake20, Jake 20.
Perfect. There we go.
Awesome. And what's the website for that?
It's www.lashartistbox.com.
Easy.
And we're also on Instagram at Lash Artist Box. And like you said earlier, if you guys have any questions in regards to e-commerce or anything really lash industry, I'm happy to answer. I love the collaboration aspect of everything. So.
All right. Well, this has been some great information. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with you. Like I said, I think everyone who's an entrepreneur should have their eye on having multiple streams of income. Business acquisition, because the difference between, we've all been through the process of creating a brand new business and trying to grow a business from scratch, and it's so hard. It can take years and blood, sweat, and tears. But if you can go ahead and acquire a business that has already some momentum and stuff and systems in place, then it's even easier. So I'm just trying to get people's mind ticking on how they can expand and grow as an entrepreneur for their whole life, and not just be stuck in one thing. So all right, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and like we said, if you want to go to lashartistbox.com, it's code Jake20 to get 20% off your first order. And you said it's free shipping too, right?
Yep, free shipping.
Awesome. Well, if you have any questions, reach out to Katie at Lash Artist Box, or what is your main Instagram?
It is at Beautiful Wants as well.
Okay.
You could reach me at either one.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Leave a review if you liked it, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
All right, bye.